I said you must go now. Do you hear me or are you deaf?
Auntie, please, the forest is forbidden. People don't return from there.
I don't care what happens to you. Step into that forest or never come back to this house.
What have I done to deserve this?
You asked too many questions. Leave now.
In the quiet village of Uwaoma, everyone feared one place more than death itself. It was called the Forbidden Forest. No one entered it at night. Not hunters, not elders, not even the bravest men. They said spirits walked there when the moon rose. Ezinne lived in a small mud house at the edge of the village. Since her parents died, she lived with her aunt, Waka. Waka was known in Uwaoma for her sharp tongue and cold heart. She smiled in public, but in the house, her eyes were always full of anger. That evening, the sun was setting slowly. The sky turned red. Ezinne was sweeping the compound when Waka called her. "Come here," Waka said, her voice calm but dangerous. Ezinne walked closer, her heart beating fast. "I want you to go to the forest," Waka said. Ezinne froze. The forbidden forest?" she asked in a low voice. "Yes," Waka replied. "Go and fetch firewood, now." Ezinne dropped the broom. "Auntie, please," she begged. "No one goes there at night. The spirits." Waka slapped the ground with her hand. "Are you calling me a liar?" she shouted. "If you don't go, don't return to this house." Darkness was already falling. The village drums sounded far away. Dogs began to howl. With shaking hands, Ezinne picked up an old basket and walked away from the house. Villagers watched her pass. Some whispered. Some shook their heads. "No one returns from there," an old woman said softly. At the edge of the forest, the air changed. The trees stood tall and silent. The wind stopped blowing. Ezinne stepped inside. Suddenly, the forest went quiet. Then, she heard footsteps behind her. But when she turned around, no one was there. Only the sound of something breathing. Ezinne stood inside the forbidden forest, holding her basket like it could protect her. The trees were tall and thick. Their branches formed a dark roof, blocking the moonlight. The ground was wet and her feet sank slightly with every step. The air smelt like old leaves and cold water. She tried to listen for normal sounds, crickets, birds, wind. But there was almost nothing, only silence and that strange breathing sound. Ezinne swallowed hard. Her throat felt dry. She remembered the way the villagers looked at her like they were watching someone walk into a grave. She remembered the fear in the old woman's voice. She whispered, "Please, I only came to pick firewood." A small twig snapped behind her. Ezinne turned quickly. Nothing. Her eyes moved left and right. She held her breath and listened. At first, she heard only her own heartbeat. Then she heard it again. Slow breathing, like someone was standing very close. Ezinne stepped back. Her heel touched something soft. She spun around and screamed, but it was only a bush with wet leaves. She pressed her hand to her chest. "It is fear. It is only fear," she told herself. She forced her legs to move forward, deeper into the forest. She needed to finish quickly. If she returned without firewood, Nwaka would punish her. If she stayed too long, the night would become thicker and worse. She found a small fallen branch and snapped it. The sound was loud in the quiet forest. She put it into the basket. Then another branch. Then another. As she walked, her hands shook. She kept looking around, expecting something to jump at her. After some time, the basket became heavier. Ezinne began to feel a small hope. "Maybe nothing will happen," she whispered. She turned to go back. That was when she saw it. A footprint, fresh, on the wet ground. It was not her footprint. It was too large and the shape was wrong, longer than a normal human foot, with toes that looked stretched. Ezinne's stomach turned. She took one slow step back. Then she saw another footprint, and another. They were moving in a circle around her.
Her eyes followed the footprints, and she realized something. Whatever made them was walking around her right now, but she could not see it. The breathing returned. Closer. Izine held her basket tightly and began to walk quickly, almost running. She did not care about direction anymore. She just wanted to leave the forest. But the trees seemed to change.
A path that looked familiar suddenly disappeared. The bushes became thicker. Vines hung down like ropes. The forest felt like it was closing in. Ezine stopped and turned around. The way she came from was gone. She blinked many times. No, this is not possible. She tried to push through the bushes, but the branches scratched her arms and pulled at her wrapper like hands. She stumbled and fell to her knees. That was when she heard a voice, soft, low, like wind speaking through leaves. Ezine. Her blood turned cold. No one in the village was here. No one should know her name. She looked up slowly. Between two trees, she saw a faint light, red and weak, like a small ember. The light moved. Then another light appeared. Then another. They looked like eyes. Ezine's body became stiff. She could not stand. She could not run. Her legs refused to obey her. The eyes moved closer. The air became colder. The smell of wet leaves changed into something sharp, like smoke and iron. Ezine whispered, "Please, please, I didn't come to do bad." The light stopped. A shadow formed in front of her, tall and thin. It did not look fully human. It was like a person made of darkness, with smoke around its shoulders. The red eyes were deep, like holes filled with fire. Ezine shut her eyes tightly. She expected death. She expected pain. But instead, she heard something else. A sound like a drum beat. Boom, boom, boom. It was not coming from outside. It felt like it was coming from inside the forest, from under the ground. Ezine opened her eyes slowly. The shadow did not touch her. It only watched. Then the voice came again, closer now. "You carry fear." Ezine's lips trembled. "Yes, I am afraid." "You were sent?" Ezine nodded quickly. "My aunt sent me, Noaka. I did not want to come." The forest became quiet again. Even the drum beat stopped. Then the voice spoke, slow and heavy. "Why did she send you?" Ezine swallowed. Tears filled her eyes. "I have no one. I only want to live in peace." For a moment, nothing happened. The shadow stayed still. Then Ezine felt something strange. The scratches on her arms stopped burning. The cold air became less painful. It was like the forest was listening to her, not just hearing her. Suddenly, a small light appeared at the side. This one was not red. It was white, soft, like moonlight on water. The light floated closer and became a shape, small like a child, but not a child. The face was calm, the eyes gentle. The body looked like mist. Ezine's tears slowed. The gentle spirit looked at her and spoke in a clear voice, unlike the heavy voice from before. "Do not fear," it said. "The forest does not kill the innocent." Ezine stared. Who are you?" "I am a god," the spirit said. "Many spirits live here. Some are angry, some are calm. The forest is old, it remembers everything." Ezine's voice was weak. "They said nobody returns." The spirit's expression became sad. "Some people entered with evil in their heart. Some came to steal sacred things. Some came to harm others. The forest judged them." Ezine shook her head quickly. "I did not come for evil." The spirit nodded. "We know." The dark shadow behind the spirit moved a little. The red eyes were still watching, but the anger in the air reduced. Ezine took a deep breath. "Please, can you show me the way out?" The gentle spirit looked at her basket of firewood and said, "You still carry the burden your aunt gave you." Ezine looked down. "I only wanted to return and avoid trouble." The spirit's voice became firm. "If you return, you will return to pain." Ezine's eyes widened. "So, what should I do?" Before the spirit could answer, the forest shook, not like an earthquake, but like a giant animal turning in sleep. Leaves fell from the trees. A deep sound rose again. Boom, boom, boom. This time it was louder, like a big drum being beaten near her ear. Ezine covered her ears and cried out. The gentle spirit lifted its hand and said, "Do not cover your ears. Listen." Ezine forced herself to listen. In the drum beat, she heard words. Not clear at first, but slowly they became sharper. "Innocent, innocent, innocent." Ezine's eyes widened. She trembled. The gentle spirit turned to the dark shadow. "The elders of the forest are awake," it said. Ezine looked around. "Elders of the forest?" The gentle spirit nodded. "The oldest spirits, the ones that judge." The red-eyed shadow moved closer. The air became heavy again. Ezine felt like she could not breathe. Then, from behind the trees, something else appeared. Not one shadow, many. shapes like people but not people. Some looked like smoke, some looked like dry wood, some had eyes like fireflies, some had no eyes at all, only empty darkness. They formed a circle around Ezine. Ezine began to shake hard. Please, please. The gentle spirit stood beside her like a shield. A voice came from all directions at once, like the forest itself was speaking. Who sent you? Ezine cried. Nwaka, my aunt, she sent me. Why? Ezine's voice broke. Because she wants me gone, because she hates me. The circle of spirits became still. The forest voice asked again, What do you want? Ezine looked down. She did not know what to say. She wanted to say she wanted a better life, but she was afraid the wrong words would offend them. So she said the truth, simple and clear. I want peace, Ezine whispered. I want to live without fear. I want to stop crying every night. I want to stop begging for love. The spirits did not move. The forest became silent again. Then the gentle spirit spoke softly to Ezine. They are listening to your heart. Do not lie. Ezine nodded and closed her eyes. In her mind, she saw Nwaka's angry face. She saw the way Nwaka pushed her, insulted her, starved her sometimes, and blamed her for everything. Ezine opened her eyes and spoke louder. I want justice, she said. Not for revenge, but so the pain can stop. The spirit circle tightened. The red-eyed spirit stepped forward. It raised its hand slowly. A red light formed in its palm like burning coal. Ezine screamed and tried to move back, but the spirit behind her blocked the way. She could not escape. The gentle spirit did not run. It stood firm. The red-eyed spirit's hand moved towards Ezine's forehead. Ezine cried, Please don't kill me. The forest voice answered, cold and powerful. We will not kill you. Ezine froze. Then the red light touched her forehead gently. She expected fire. She expected pain. But instead, she felt a sudden rush in her head, like many memories entering her mind at once. She saw strange things. She saw the village of Uwaoma many years ago, when the trees were younger. She saw a woman running into the forest, bleeding and crying. She saw Nwaka, younger, doing something evil near the river. Ezine gasped and fell backward. Her basket of firewood spilled. The gentle spirit caught her before she hit the ground. Ezine's eyes were wide with shock. She whispered, I saw Nwaka. I saw her. The gentle spirit stared at her seriously. The forest has shown you a truth, and now you must choose. Ezine's lips trembled. Choose what? The gentle spirit pointed into the deeper darkness of the forest. It said, There is a place called the heart of the forest. If you go there, you will learn why Nwaka truly wants you removed. You will learn what she is hiding. But if you go, you cannot pretend anymore. Your life will change forever. Ezine looked into the darkness. The trees seemed to watch her. The spirits waited. Ezine shook with fear and confusion. Then she whispered, If I don't go? The gentle spirit replied, Then you return to the same house, to the same suffering, and Nwaka will try again. This was not her last plan. Ezine's eyes filled with tears again. She looked at the path behind her. Then she looked at the darkness ahead. Her hands clenched into fists. Finally, with a trembling voice, she said, I will go. The spirit's red eyes brightened. The wind returned suddenly, strong and cold, and far ahead in the forest, something screamed, loud, wild, and not human. Ezine flinched. The gentle spirit grabbed her hand. Hold tight, it said. Do not look back. And they began to walk deeper into the forbidden forest.
Ezine walked deeper into the forbidden forest, holding the hand of the gentle spirit. The trees became taller and closer together. Their roots rose from the ground like sleeping snakes. The air felt thick, heavy and alive. Every step felt like the forest was watching her, judging her. Behind her, the path disappeared. Ahead of her, darkness waited. Izine wanted to cry. She wanted to run back, but she remembered the gentle spirit's words. If you return, the suffering will continue. So she kept walking. The gentle spirit spoke softly. Do not fear the forest. Fear only lies. Izine nodded, though her heart was pounding. Why did the forest show me those visions? She asked. Why did I see my aunt? The spirit did not answer immediately. Instead, it led her past a fallen tree covered in glowing moss. The moss shone faintly, lighting their path. The forest reveals truth to those who are chosen, the gentle spirit said. You were brought here because the forest remembers your blood. Izine frowned. My blood? Yes, the spirit replied. Your mother once walked this path. Izine stopped walking. My mother, she whispered. The spirit turned and faced her. Its eyes were calm but deep, like water that hides secrets. Long ago, when your mother was alive, she came here seeking protection. She was betrayed by someone she trusted. Izine's chest tightened. Who? The spirit looked away. You will see soon. They continued walking. The forest began to change. The trees grew wider, their bark marked with strange symbols. The ground became smooth, like it had been swept clean by unseen hands. The air smelled fresh, like rain after heat. Then they arrived. At the center of a wide clearing stood an ancient tree. It was enormous. Its roots spread out in all directions, forming shapes like seats and steps. Its trunk was thick and twisted, covered in symbols that glowed faintly red and white. Its branches reached into the sky like arms calling down power. This is the heart of the forest, the gentle spirit said. Izine felt weak. She slowly sat on one of the roots. The forest went silent. Then the tree began to glow. The symbols lit up brighter, and the ground beneath Izine trembled slightly. A deep sound rose from the earth like a drumbeat mixed with a heartbeat. Boom, boom. Izine felt the sound inside her chest. The gentle spirit stepped back and bowed. Izine realized she was alone. Do not leave me, she whispered. The forest answered her. A powerful voice rose from the ancient tree, deep and slow. Daughter of the forest. Izine trembled. I am here. You have come seeking truth. Yes, she replied. I want to understand why my aunt wants me gone. The tree glowed brighter. Because your life exposes her sin. Suddenly, the air changed. Izine felt dizzy. The forest around her faded, and another scene appeared before her eyes. She was no longer in the present. She was watching the past. She saw the village of Uwaoma many years ago. The houses were fewer. The people were younger. She saw her mother. Her mother was beautiful, with tired eyes and a gentle face. She was pregnant, and beside her was Nwaka, young Nwaka. Her eyes were sharp even then. Izine watched as her mother walked toward the river at night, holding her belly and crying softly. Nwaka followed her, hiding behind trees. Izine's chest burned. What is happening? She asked the forest. The voice answered, Watch. She saw her mother kneel by the river, whispering prayers. She heard her mother say, Please protect my child. Please give me peace. Then Nwaka stepped forward. They argued. Izine could not hear every word, but she saw anger on Nwaka's face. She saw jealousy burning in her eyes. Then Nwaka pushed her mother. Her mother fell into the river. Izine screamed, No! But the past did not stop. She saw her mother struggling in the water, reaching out. She saw Nwaka stand still, watching, doing nothing. The river took her away. Izine fell to her knees, crying loudly. When the vision ended, she was back at the heart of the forest. Tears streamed down her face. She killed my mother, Izine whispered. The forest answered. She thought the river would erase her sin, but the forest remembers. Izine shook violently. Why didn't anyone know? Because Nwaka lied. She cried louder than truth, and the village believed her. Izine covered her face. Then why am I alive? The tree glowed again. Your mother did not die in fear. She died in faith. The ground shimmered. Izine saw another vision. Her mother standing inside the forest speaking to spirits. Her mother was calm. She was brave. She was chosen. She asked the forest to protect her unborn child. The voice said, the forest agreed. Izine gasped. The forest marked you. The voice continued. That is why Nwaka fears you. She knows you carry truth in your blood.
Izine wiped her tears. Is that why she treats me badly? Yes, the forest replied. She hoped pain would break you. When it did not, she planned your disappearance. Izine's hands trembled. She sent me here to die, Izine said. Yes, the forest answered, but the forest does not kill its own. Suddenly, the red-eyed spirit appeared beside the tree. Its eyes burned brighter than before. Nwaka has returned to the old ways, it said. She seeks protection from her past. The gentle spirit returned and stood beside Izine. She has started a ritual, the gentle spirit added. She believes if you die here, the forest will release her. Izine's eyes widened. A ritual? Yes, the gentle spirit said, before sunrise. Izine stood up slowly. Then I cannot stay here. The forest voice grew louder. You must decide. Izine swallowed. Decide what? The tree's roots shifted. Two paths lie before you. The ground split gently, revealing two glowing paths. One path glowed white, the other glowed red. The forest explained. The white path returns you to the village as you are, innocent, unchanged. But Nwaka will strike again. Izine looked at the white path. It felt safe. The red path binds you to the forest. The voice continued. You will see truth. You will carry justice. But your life will never be the same. Izine's heart raced. If I choose the red path, she asked, what happens to Nwaka? The forest was silent for a moment. Then it answered. She will face what she escaped. Izine shook her head. I don't want revenge. The gentle spirit stepped forward. Justice is not revenge, it said gently. Justice ends suffering. Izine closed her eyes. She thought of her mother. She thought of the night she cried silently. She thought of Nwaka's cold eyes. She opened her eyes and looked at the red path. I choose the truth, Izine said firmly. The forest shook. The red path flared bright. The red-eyed spirit raised its hands and symbols appeared on Izine's arms, glowing softly before fading into her skin. She screamed, not in pain, but in shock. Power rushed through her body, warm and heavy. Her fear began to fade. The ancient tree spoke one last time. At dawn, you will return to Uwaoma. Izine breathed heavily. What will happen then? The forest answered slowly. The village will see, and Nwaka will not escape. The gentle spirit took Izine's hand again. Sleep, the forest will guard you. Izine's strength left her body. As she lay beneath the ancient tree, the forest hummed softly. Far away in the village of Uwaoma, Nwaka lit candles and whispered lies to the night. She smiled, believing her secret was safe. She did not know the forest was already walking towards her. The night inside the forbidden forest was long, but it did not feel like normal night. Izine slept under the ancient tree, the heart of the forest, but her sleep was not deep like ordinary sleep. It was like she was resting inside a powerful dream. The forest breathed around her, calm and steady, like a mother watching a child. Sometimes she heard soft whispers, but they did not frighten her anymore. Sometimes she felt warm wind pass over her face, even though there was no wind in the forest. And sometimes she felt the markings on her arms glow softly beneath her skin like hidden fire. When the first sound of morning birds came, Izine's eyes opened. She sat up slowly. The gentle spirit was there, standing like a silent guard. The red-eyed spirit was there too, but farther away under a shadowy tree. It watched her like it always did, serious and quiet. The heart of the forest glowed faintly, like it was waking up too. The gentle spirit spoke. It is almost dawn. Izine touched her arms.
I feel different, she said. The gentle spirit nodded. You are still you, it replied, but now the forest knows you and you know the forest. Ezine stood up. Her legs were steady, her hands were no longer shaking, but her heart still carried fear. Not the fear of spirits, but the fear of what waited in the village. Nwaka, Ezine whispered. The gentle spirit's face became firm. She has started her ritual, it said, before sunrise. Ezine's eyes widened. What kind of ritual? The gentle spirit looked at the heart of the forest. A ritual of covering sin, it replied. A ritual of lies. Ezine swallowed. Will it work? The red-eyed spirit finally spoke, its voice heavy like thunder far away. It will not. Ezine's body shivered, but she did not run. The gentle spirit lifted its hand and pointed. A path appeared in front of Ezine, glowing faintly red like hot coal under ash. This path will take you out, but you must walk without looking back, no matter what you hear, no matter what you feel. Ezine nodded. I will not look back. The gentle spirit's eyes softened. Be brave, it said, not with anger, with truth. Ezine took one step, then another. As she walked, the forest seemed to open gently for her. Branches moved aside, thick bushes parted, roots lowered like steps. It was like the forest was guiding her safely. But even with all that help, the air grew colder as she neared the forest edge. Ezine began to hear sounds behind her. Crying, soft crying. It sounded like her mother. Ezine, the voice cried, come back. Ezine's chest tightened. Tears filled her eyes. For a moment, her feet slowed. The gentle spirit's warning echoed in her mind. Do not look back. Ezine closed her eyes and continued walking. Then another sound came. It sounded like villagers calling her name. Ezine! Ezine! It sounded like Zara's classmates calling from far away, like the voice of children from another world. It tried to pull her heart back. Ezine clenched her teeth and kept walking. Then the sound changed. This time it was Nwaka's voice. Come back here, you useless girl, the voice shouted behind her. Ezine's hands became fists. Her heart wanted to turn, but she did not. She walked until the cold air suddenly lifted. She stepped out of the forest and dawn light hit her face. The village of Uwaoma lay ahead, quiet and sleepy, but something was wrong. The air in the village felt tight, like a rope pulled too hard. Smoke rose from the middle of the village. Ezine's eyes narrowed. She hurried forward. As she approached the village square, she saw people gathering. Men, women, elders, even children. Everyone was standing in a wide circle, whispering and looking afraid. In the center of the circle, candles were burning in the early morning light, and beside the candles stood Nwaka. She wore a wrapper that was too dark for morning. Her head tie was tight, her face looked hard like stone. She was holding a calabash bowl. Inside it was something black, something thick. Ezine's stomach turned. What is she doing? A woman whispered. I heard she is cleansing the village, another woman replied. From what? Someone asked. A man answered. From Ezine's bad luck. Ezine's whole body went cold. So Nwaka was not only trying to erase her sin, she was also making the village hate Ezine. Ezine stepped forward. The crowd gasped when they saw her. Some people jumped back. Some covered their mouths. A child screamed. She came back. Nwaka's head snapped up. Her eyes met Ezine's eyes. For 1 second, fear entered Nwaka's face, but she quickly covered it with anger. You, Nwaka shouted, acting like she had seen a ghost. So you didn't die? The villagers turned to look between them. Ezine stood still in the center of their eyes. Her heart was beating fast, but her voice came out steady. I did not die. Nwaka raised the calabash bowl. Elders of Uwaoma, look, this is the one bringing darkness to our home. The forest rejected her and returned her. Some villagers murmured in fear. Some elders frowned.
One elder, old and wise, stepped forward slowly. Nkwaka, he said, why did you send her to that forest at night? Nkwaka's eyes flashed. I did not send her, she lied quickly. She ran away. She is stubborn. She is cursed. Ezine took a deep breath. She remembered the heart of the forest's voice. Truth must speak. Ezine looked at the elder. She sent me, she said calmly. She said if I did not go, I should not return to her house. The crowd began to whisper louder.
Nkwaka lifted her hands dramatically. "Lies!" she shouted. "This girl lies like her mother." When Nkwaka said her mother, something strange happened. The wind moved. Not normal wind. It moved like a message. The candles in the village square flickered, even though the air was calm. People looked around. A woman held her chest. "Did you feel that?" she asked. The elder narrowed his eyes. "Speak carefully, Nkwaka," he warned. "Do not call spirits with careless words." Nkwaka's face tightened, but she forced a laugh. "Spirits? You people fear too much. I am only cleansing the village." Suddenly, a loud sound cut through the morning. Boom! It was like a drum, but deeper. The ground vibrated lightly beneath everyone's feet. People screamed and stepped back. Nkwaka froze. Boom! Again, the sound came from the direction of the forbidden forest. Then something unbelievable happened. A line of red dust rose from the ground like a thin wall. It stretched from the forest edge into the village square. It formed a path, straight, clean, and glowing faintly. The crowd went silent. The elder's mouth opened slowly. This is not human walk," he whispered. Ezine's markings on her arms warmed up. She did not raise her hands. She did not chant. She did not do anything. But the forest was speaking. Nkwaka's eyes widened. Her lips trembled. She dropped the calabash bowl. It broke. The black substance spilled and sizzled like it heated the earth. Nkwaka stepped back. No, she whispered. The elder looked at Nkwaka sharply. "What did you do?" he asked. Nkwaka shook her head wildly. "Nothing. I did nothing." Then the village heard it. A voice. Not Ezine's voice. Not any human voice. It came like many voices joined together. It came from the path of red dust. It came from the air itself. "Nkwaka!" The crowd gasped. Some people fell to their knees. Children began to cry. Nkwaka shook violently. "Who is calling me?" she shouted, though her voice was weak now. The voice spoke again, louder. "Nkwaka of Uwaoma, your hands are not clean." Nkwaka's face began to sweat. Her face turned pale. She forced a laugh again, but it sounded broken. "This is trick," she said. "This is evil work from this girl." Ezine stood still. Tears filled her eyes, but not from fear, from the pain of knowing the truth. The voice continued. "You pushed a pregnant woman into the river." The entire village froze. One woman screamed, "Pregnant woman?" Another man whispered, "Which pregnant woman?" The elder's eyes widened. Then, slowly, his voice shook. "Ezine's mother." Murmurs turned to loud whispers. "Oh, is it true? That was many years ago. We thought it was an accident." Nkwaka's legs weakened. She grabbed the edge of a wooden stool and held it tightly. No, it was not me. She slipped." The voice answered, cold like iron. "You watched her drown." Nkwaka screamed, "Stop!" The elder stepped forward, his staff shaking. "Nkwaka, tell us the truth. Did you do this?" Nkwaka's eyes jumped around like a trapped animal. She looked at the crowd, she looked at Ezine, she looked at the red path. And then she did something desperate. She grabbed a sharp broken piece from the calabash bowl and ran towards Ezine. "I will end you today," she screamed. The crowd shouted in fear, "Stop her! Hold her!" But Nkwaka was fast. Ezine's body moved without thinking. She did not attack, she did not fight. She only stood her ground, and the forest reacted. The red dust on the ground rose suddenly like a strong, invisible hand. It wrapped around Nwaka's legs like rope. Nwaka fell hard. The sharp piece flew from her hand. She tried to stand, but the dust held her down. She screamed and struggled like a mad person. "Let me go!" The elder stepped forward and pointed at her. "So you were ready to kill again," he said softly. Nwaka began to cry, but her crying was not like regret. It was like someone crying because they were caught. "Please," she begged. "Please, elders, forgive me. I was young. I was angry." The elder's face was full of pain. "You lived among us for years," he said, "and you carried blood on your hands." Women in the crowd began to cry too. Some cried for Ezine's mother. Some cried because they could not believe someone they trusted was capable of such evil. Ezine stepped forward, slowly. The red dust path did not frighten her. It felt like protection. She looked at Nwaka and her voice was quiet. You hated me because I was the Eminder, Ezine said, not because I did anything to you. Nwaka looked up at her, her eyes red. You should have died, she whispered. The crowd gasped at those words. The elder raised his hand. Enough, he said. The truth has spoken. He turned to the men. Take her, he ordered. Tie her hands. She will face judgment according to our laws. The men moved forward and lifted Nwaka. The red dust loosened and released her as if it had finished its duty. Nwaka was dragged away, shouting and crying. This is not fair. This is witchcraft. You will regret it. But the village did not listen anymore. The elder turned to Ezine. His eyes were wet. Child, he said softly, forgive us. We did not protect you. We did not know. Ezine's lips trembled. I don't know how to forgive, she admitted, but I want peace. The elder nodded slowly. You will have it. Then, in front of everyone, something else happened. The red dust path began to fade. The air warmed. Birds started singing like normal birds again. The village square became ordinary again, like nothing had happened. But the village people were not the same. They had seen the forest speak. They had seen truth rise from silence. A woman stepped forward and touched Ezine's shoulder gently. Come with me, she said. You will not sleep alone again. Another woman nodded. You will eat in my house today. A man said, you will work with my wife. You are safe. One by one, the village began to surround Ezine, not with fear, but with care. Ezine's eyes filled with tears again, not bitter tears, relief. She looked toward the forest edge. For one small moment, she thought she saw the gentle spirit standing among the trees, watching quietly. And beside it, the red-eyed spirit, still serious, still powerful. The gentle spirit lifted its hand slightly, like a goodbye. Ezine whispered, thank you. The forest did not answer with words, but the wind blew softly through the village, and Ezine understood. The forest did not give her revenge, it gave her truth, and truth gave her freedom. That morning in Uwaoma, people would tell the story for many years, how a wicked ant tried to bury truth in the forbidden forest, but the spirits returned the truth to the village. And Ezine, who once walked with fear, finally walked with peace. Listen, no matter how long evil hides behind lies and fake kindness, truth will always rise at the right time, and those who harm the innocent can never escape the judgment meant for them. Thank you for watching this story to the end. If you enjoyed it, please like the video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another powerful African story.